Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. And you saw in my last two videos that we made a two-piece out of a sweater and a skirt. And the long-time viewers may recognize my Chanel-esque skirt that I made really some time ago of a knit fabric that has some sequins inside, embroidered inside or knitted inside. And I had quite some fabric left out of this, and I have been thinking all the time to make a sweater with this skirt. So in this video we're gonna make a sweater matching this skirt. If you like to make this skirt also, I will link it down below in the description box, the sewing class of it. And now we're gonna make the sweater matching this one, and I'll show you how it will look. Oh, and I'm wearing all silk and satin today, and that is because I will give you an look on what we're going to do in the future, the near future. I wanted to do it in January, but because of my health I couldn't make the more longer projects. But it will be with lots of satins, chiffons, lots of nice things, not too difficult, but just takes a lot of more time to make it. But also beginners can do it, as always in my on my channel. It's not difficult to do. I explain very clear how to do it, but it will be a lot of chiffons and satins. So I'll show you later on what that will be. So I saw this sweater some time ago. I think it was from Urban Outfitters. And what I really liked were the sleeves with these flat pleats on top. I like that very much. I don't make them too wide with many pleats because I have rather broad shoulders and then it makes me even broader. So I just make a few, but if you like more, certainly do that. These sleeves are also very wide until the bottom. I won't do that. I will make them more fitted when we go more down the sleeve so that it's not that wide in total. And I also make it cropped, not as cropped as this one that you see skin, but just as the grey one we just made, a few centimeters below the waistline, so that when you wear it with your bottoms or skirt, you can it just falls a little bit over your bottoms that you're wearing, and I like that more than when you see some skin in between. And what you also see is the sleeves and the top of the part are in a different fabric. I may have to do that too, because I'm not sure if I have enough fabric to make these big sleeves out of the scrap that I have left. But I also have some, and I will leave that down below in the description box if you would like to recreate that one. I have some fabric from that left, and I can use that as the second fabric if I need to. So I will link that down below if you like that. So that is my inspiration. So for the sweater you will need your basic pattern for the top, and if you don't have that yet, I will link down below in the description box my tutorial on how you can make this to your own sizing, and you can use it over and over again. So you just make it once and you can use it for all kinds of tutorials, because we make the adjustments to your basic pattern. So what I did, I folded in the bottom part because we're gonna only use it till the waistline. And the same as for the grey sweater we just made, I'm gonna extend my waistline with 3 centimeters because I want it cropped but not too cropped. So I'm gonna add 3 centimeters to my waist. I'm not gonna make a separate pattern out of it because it's just simple. I'll just do it on my fabric, and then it's okay. And I'm also gonna adjust my side seam just by putting a ruler to it and just adding a little bit to the waistline, and it's just a little bit wider than fitted, so just in a curve. You can also do it just straight down and it's even more wide at the waistline, whatever you like, but I will do it just a little bit curved like this. Then the front and the back is the same except for the neck hole. And what we're also going to do, maybe if you cannot enter your neck hole, it's depending on the stretchiness of your fabric, then we can make a keyhole in the back with a button here on top, so that you can open it up and close it up when you put it in and out. So I'm gonna see how my fabric will stretch, if I can my head through the hole or not, and then we'll see if we need to make that keyhole. So that's for the top part. To make a basic pattern for a sleeve, for a basic sleeve, you will take your basic pattern for the top, And you take your measuring tape and you measure how wide your armhole is. For me that is 22 centimeters, so you just take that curve like that. Then you take a piece of paper and you fold it in two, so here is the fold. And you take that same measurement that you just made and you lay that in somewhat a curve like this. And it must be the same measurement as this curve of your armhole. So this is the same as this curve, and it doesn't really matter for a basic sleeve how your curve is. It can also be more flat, or well, I wouldn't make it higher than this one. This is already pretty high, but you can also make it like this, more flat, and then it's wider around your arm, around your upper arm. Then you get a more casual sleeve where you make it more like this, the curve. Then it is more a nicely dressed sleeve. So the only thing that is important is that the measurement is the same as the measurement of your armhole. So you draw that curve, then you measure how long your sleeve must be, and you mark the ends, and then you measure how wide you want your sleeve to be, just by putting your measuring tape around your wrist and watch how wide you want it to be. You can always change it later on, but for your basic pattern you just take a basic measurement and then you mark half of that down at the bottom, and you take a straight line from the end of your armhole to the end of your sleeve. And then you have your basic pattern. When you fold it open, you have your whole sleeve like this. And with this sleeve you can make all kinds of adjustments for different kind of sleeves. So now you have your basic pattern. If you want to make any adjustments to your basic sleeve, I would recommend tracing it again on a new piece of paper, so that you always keep your basic pattern on hand for other projects. And what you can do if you want to make adjustments, you can cut it down here or you can cut it down here, and then you can feather it out. And that is why I say always take another piece of paper for that, so that you keep your basic pattern for further projects. So what we're going to do now is we're going to cut it off here on the head of the sleeve. And when we do that, we can feather this part out, and then we can make the head of the sleeve wider, so that we can make pleats here on top of it. So just cut it off. Then you make lines on your head of your sleeve, just making straight lines. And you can do whatever you like, how wide or how small, it doesn't really matter. Just make some stripes that you know where to cut. Then what you do is you cut the parts open. You put your pattern on a new piece of paper, and you tape the bottom part down. You connect the sides of the head of the sleeve here together. You tape that down too. And this part you just flare out. So there's spaces between the pieces that you cut open. And that means that you get a more room now here, more space into the head of your sleeve to make your gatherings or your pleats or whatever you want to have. And that also means that the head of your sleeve is higher. You see that it was first connected here, now you have a few centimeters extra, so you get more poof on the head of your sleeve. And that's a very nice and easy way to adjust your sleeve in a different kind than your basic one. The basic one was like this. What you also can do if you want more width also here in the more the mid part of your sleeve, is just cut your sleeve here and then flare it out from here. Then this part, the portion of the sleeve that is more around your upper arm, gets wider too. And if you like that, then just flare it out from this bottom line and going out like that. And that's just a very simple way to adjust your sleeve like this. And maybe you'll say, well, you use really a lot of paper That's right, but you can use this same pattern over and over again. So always when you make a new pattern, save it, mark it where it was from, so that you know what kind of sleeve it was, and then you can use it over and over again for other projects, and just store them very nicely in a container or whatever, that it stays nice, and then you don't waste your paper because you use it again. So this is the fabric that I'm using. This is structured knit, and I hope when I pick it up you can see a little bit of a sparkle of the sequences that are knitted in, and it's really nice fabric for this. So I cut my pieces, and before you cut, always wash your fabric, especially when you have a knit or a jersey or something, because they can shrink very much and then your garment will not fit anymore when you wash it afterwards. So always do that first. I put my cutting mat underneath it, because the white on white is very difficult to see, so I should buy another marble underlay, I think, that is not white, because I'm using so much white that it's not really visible. So we have our back piece, our front piece, and 2 sleeves, and we're going to start. And as you see, I didn't have enough fabric of the skirt to also cut the sleeves, because they are rather big because of the pleats. So I used my other fabric that has just about the same color, just not that pattern and not the sequences, but it matches very nicely. And in this way you can also very nicely use up your scraps, so that you don't have to throw this away, because it's enough to make a sleeve or just a piece of another garment, and then you can mix and match, and it looks also nice. So we're going to start with the sewing part, and because we have a knit, you must use a stretch stitch or a zigzag stitch, and always use a ballpoint needle, so a jersey needle, because then you don't get holes and it goes through the knit stitches. And if you can, if your machine has that, use the stretch settings on your machine. You will see me using my Sergio a lot because I like that a lot, but you can certainly do this with a normal sewing machine. And what we're going to do first is we're going to sew the shoulder seams. So put the front and the back on top of each other, right sides together. Align the shoulder seams, pin them down, and then sew them together with the stitch that I just told you. So you lay now your bodice open. So this is the front, this is the back. That you have here your armhole. And then you take one of your sleeves, you mark where the middle is, and then you're going to make pleats. And I like to lay it down like this, then I can see when I have my head of my sleeve at the same length as my armhole. You can also just measure it out and then measure it out on your sleeve, but I like to do it like this, just freehanding, and see when I have the right amount of pleats. And you can do whatever you like. You can make bigger pleats or smaller pleats, whatever you prefer. I'm gonna make flat pleats, as I said. I'm not sure what it's called in English, but when I translate it from the Dutch, it is flat. It means that one of the pleats goes that way and the other one goes that way, and then the next one again goes towards that one, and the next one goes away from that one. So it's going up and down. Me making the pleats, I always try to make them evenly as wide as left and right, and also the spaces in between just about the same. You don't have to measure it, but just make it just about the same. And then I watched if I matched my shoulder seam, if it was the right length for my armhole, and that was exactly right. So then what I'm going to do is I'm going to flip it over, and I'm going to pin my sleeve to my oops, you shouldn't take pins out before. But then you're going to pin your sleeve to your armhole, just like you normally would do. So from left to right, right to left, whatever you prefer. And then you're going to sew that down. So that's not really difficult. Just make sure that your pins are really nicely attaching the pleats. So here mine loses, so I have to do that again. And then pin it all around and sew it. Oh, and a tip, if you want to make the 2 sleeves almost the same. Lay them in front of each other so that you can see the new sleeves you have to pin. You can compare it to the old sleeves that you already pinned, and then you can make it as close as the same as possible. And it's a very nice trick to make sure that the sleeves are not different from each other. We have our sleeves on. I hope they look nice on your garment. Mine look really nice. I'm happy with this. So what we're going to do is we fold the front and the back again together, and then the sleeves will fold together too. And then you pin the side seams and the sleeve seam for both sides, and we're going to sew that down. And when you've done that, you can try it on and see if you have to make any adjustments. Maybe it's too wide, then you can take it in a bit. And especially watch how your neck hole is. Is it wide enough to get your head through? Then you can leave it like that. You can make it wider if it's too small. Or you can make in the back, mid-back, a keyhole just by making a slit. And then you can finish that the same as we're going to finish the rest of the neck hole, just by putting a bias tape around it. So watch if you need to do that or if it's okay like this. So I tried on my sweater and it fitted perfectly, also the neck hole. So now what we're going to do is we're going to measure all around the neck hole just by using your measuring tape around the front and around the back. And mine was 37 centimeters, but I give it a little bit extra just to be sure. If you couldn't fit in, just make in the mid-back, as I said before, a keyhole, and you see how low you have to go until you can get your head through. And when you have to do that, make sure that you also measure down, so all around, and then down how much your keyhole will be, and then going up again. Then you have enough of your bias tape to go all the way around and your keyhole. Normally a bias tape is on the bias, dus on the diagonal, but because this fabric is very stretchy, at least mine is very stretchy, but yours will be stretchy too because you have a knit fabric. You don't have to cut it on the bias, you can just cut it straight on. Just make sure you have it on the side that you have stretch in the length of your tape. And then what you can do is you can iron it in first, and it will be by folding it double and iron it down, and then iron the seam allowances in, so folding in one to that middle seam and then folding the other one also to the middle seam and iron that down. But I won't do that because my fabric is very thin and very flowy. I don't need to do that. I can just pin it on, fold it over, and it will be okay. So what we're going to do is you're going to pin this onto your neck hole, and you can choose where you want your seam to be, because of course this will be a circle. You can put it on the shoulder, or you can put it in the mid-back. When you have a keyhole, I wouldn't put it on the mid-back because then you have a problem with finishing it up. Then I would certainly choose a shoulder. I will do a shoulder too, and I will first put it on right sides together, going all the way around. You're gonna attach the two ends together and sew that straight across. And then what you do is you fold it to the inside and you fold in the seam allowance. You fold it all the way over the seam allowance where you attached it to the sweater, and you pin it down. And then what you can do is you can do a stitch in the ditch that I've done before. I have a special about it, I will link it down below. That means that you stitch it down here where you attached it to the sweater. You can do that. It is a very nice way to finish it off. What you also can do, because this is a knit, it is very easy to do that invisible, is just sew it on by hand and then you've attached the inside also to the sweater. So it's just what you like to do. Stitching this is always a nice way to finish it up, and it's very easy to do when you follow my instructions in the special. So we're gonna finish this up. Like I showed you in the special, leave your diagonal pins in so that you're sure that your fabric will stay in place, and then you top stitch it from the right side. Is nicely finished like this. Now what we have to do is we have to hem the sleeves, and I saw my fabric of the sleeves is way thinner than of the bodice, and that means they are now rather wide because of the flimsy fabric, and it means that I'm still gonna make a casing with elastic around the waist, around the wrist, as the inspo photo had. So it's gonna look more like the inspo than I intended to do, but because of this fabric is very thin, I like it very much. I'm not gonna make the sleeve smaller, I just leave it like that. I make a casing folding it 2 centimeters and then again 2 centimeters, so I have a double casing so that the elastic won't be showing through the thin fabric. I had enough length. I always cut on a bit more seam allowance for hems to see if I need it or not. So I'm gonna do that for both the sleeves, and then for the bottom just folding it in 1 centimeter and another centimeter and top stitch it, and then your sweater is done. If you had to make a keyhole, then make on a loop and a button in the mid back, and then you're also done. And the outcome of this sweater. I'm really glad that I had to use the thinner fabric for the sleeves, because now it is nice and flowy here. You see I have rather broad shoulders. I could have put the sleeves just a little bit more onto the shoulder, then it wouldn't be that wide as it is now, but because this fabric is very thin I don't really mind. But it's a reminder for next time when I want to make something like this, I should make my shoulders a little bit smaller. The end here, exactly where the seam is, but just to make it visually better, I would rather put my sleeves up more higher on the shoulder, like there, and then you get more the puffiness, but not the wideness that I don't want, because I already have broad shoulders for my short length, so that wouldn't make it nice. But for the rest, I'm very happy with the result. You see I put elastic in the sleeves, on the bottom of the sleeves, because they still were rather wide because of the thin fabric, and I think that looks really nice. I love the length. Of course it's the same as the grey one, and I think to me that is mostly flattering. When I would buy something like this, it would certainly end here or something, and then it would be a crop top for normal people, but for me it would be a normal length. So I really like when I make it myself that I can just make it the length that I want. And the bias tape is nice, I really like it. But maybe you notice that this, how I look now, is not how I normally look. Of course it's my own pants, my shoes. The shoes are really me, but the whole outlook is a little bit different as I normally do. And that is, I wanted to show you the sweater with the matching skirt, but I put it on and it was, this is not what it should look like. And it is because with the puffiness of the sleeves, and I already told you I have to be careful with these things, I looked really not my best. I looked old-fashioned, I looked older, and I didn't feel good. And that doesn't mean that the sweater wasn't right. If you have that, don't think, oh, the sweater's right, I'll throw it away and I'll never sew again. No, you just have to style it differently. And to me, I must always be very careful how to style things, and I'm educated in that, but still I have to see sometimes, oh, this is not what I thought it would be. And I will show you how it looks when I put on the skirt, but it was too much. It was too much of everything, and it really looked old-fashioned, like I was from 40 years ago, and it just wasn't it. So I thought, okay, I have to make the styling different. I tried another skirt, I will show you also later on, that still wasn't it. So I thought I must go a little bit more to the edgy side, to the trendy side, maybe that will work. And that's why I put on these pants. They are very flowy, very nice, and I think like this it looks me. Although it's not really me because I'm not wearing a skirt, but I don't always have to wear a skirt. I really like these pants, and I think with the sweater it looks really nice with the matching boots to it. I don't know if you can see it in the mirror. I think I have white boots on, short boots. I think now it looks really nice. I put some more jewelry on that I normally have, big earrings, and then I think, okay, this looks nice. This is how I would like to go out on the street, and people think, oh, she looks nicely dressed. And that's what you have to do. You don't just put on one thing and think, this is not, and then no, never wear it again. Just try and play with your things and see what looks good on you. And I will show you when I put my skirt on, the matching skirt, how it will look. So this is how I wanted to show the sweater, and I looked in the mirror and I thought, no, this is not it. I don't know if you see it, but I certainly see it. I feel old, I look certainly old-fashioned, and I thought, okay, I'll put a belt on. So I took some different belts, I tucked in the shirt, but still not it. So I thought, okay, maybe a more Chanel-esque belt, something like this. Still not it. More paper belt maybe. Also not doing it right. So then I thought, well, maybe I'll put a more edgy skirt on. You'll hear Chapel playing downstairs, sorry for that. So I'll show you what that looked. So, totally different skirt, long one, faux leather, white boots, and still not it. It's just not how it should look like. And I was thinking, what is the problem here? And I think it is the puffiness of the sleeves in my case. And don't think that this is also for you. I just want to show you that sometimes you have to search for things that are not that clear at the beginning. And I was pretty sure that it would look nice on me, the white sweater with the skirt, but it is not. And sometimes you just have to look and see, look in the mirror, how it looks, and if you think it is okay or not. If not, no problem, just search for something else, because this also not it. So next try. So then I took the pants that I showed you in the first one, and I thought, okay, that looks good, so maybe with dress pants it will look nice. So I took my dress pants out, and I think this also looks really nice. And it's not really that you have to wear this with pants, but just in my case, the skirts the skirt matching makes it old-fashioned. And when I put some trousers on, I think it looks really nice. The matching boots to the sweater. And I think this with the puffy sleeves is really okay. So I think if you pair this with jeans or whatever, it also would look really nice. But it can also be that in your case, skirts look really nice with the sweater. You can match it with that. So it's very personal how things look, not only on your body type, but also on your personality, your age, however you look in skin type or in hair. Just try to find a thing that looks really nice. And remember that for the next time. And when you make something yourself and it isn't the way you thought it would be, don't get discouraged. Just try it on with something else and see if that is okay. Just try to mix and match things together and come to a conclusion that with something it will work. So for me it is with dress pants, with that more trendy pants. Maybe I'll find a skirt that will match with this sweater, because I'm really happy with the result of this sweater. It's very comfortable. The sleeves are nice and thin, so not that thick and bulky. You can put a blazer over it that will look totally different, so maybe then I can wear it with a skirt. But I'm very happy with the result, and I hope you learned a bit about these styling tips and how you can do that for yourself or for someone else you want to dress up. And you just have to use your mirror and see how it looks. So I hope you liked this sewing class, and I hope you like these styling tips. I put some pictures together of things I want to make in the coming weeks, and I will put it in right now. And the things that I want to make in the upcoming weeks are these garments, and I certainly want to make that dress from Reese in the left hand corner. It's a dress made out of chiffon and satin, and I saw it on the channel of Fashion Mumbler from Josie, and I really like how it looks. It is very expensive to buy, but you can very easily make it yourself, because maybe you can see that it is not really a difficult pattern to make. It's pretty simple, but the combination of the chiffon with the satin really looks very nice. So I really want to make that. Then on the right is a blouse, and I don't know if you can see it, but I saw this one on the channel from Freddie. And Freddie My Love, and I saw that blouse, and it is really different because the sleeve seams are not closed, and that's the funny thing of this blouse. You can see in the right picture the elbows are coming out, and that is because the sleeves are not closed up. So I thought it was really funny thing to make, and it looks very classic, very stylish. With that collar that is a bow, or you can tie it in a bow. You could just let it hang loose like this in this picture. But I really like those open sleeves, and you see the top of the sleeves are very much pleated or gathered. I'm not sure if I make it that wide, but certainly the part with the open sleeve seam, I really like that. And then in the left-hand corner on the left-hand corner on the bottom is another blouse that is made out of satin, and it has two long parts in the front that you cross over and that you tie in the back. And also that pattern is really something different, something classic. I have a dress that has that too. This one is from H&M, and I think that dress is from H&M too. I'm not sure, but I saw it also on the site on the channel of Josie, and I bought that dress, although I hardly ever buy clothing, but I really liked that one. And this, I think, is the blouse version of it. Then this is also from H&M, but I really like that one, certainly in satin, because you can see the shine very nicely like this. And then on the right hand corner, that is a picture of Lindsay Albanese. I saw this blouse that she lately wore, and I really like it. She said it was from organza, but I think it is chiffon, because organza is very stiff, and I don't think this blouse is made of organza because it's very flowy. You cannot see it in the picture, but she was wearing it in the video, so you can see it was a very softly falling material. So I will make it out of chiffon with a floral pattern, not particularly this color, but certainly this style of blouse with the puffy sleeves, and also with that bow collar part. I like it very much, and certainly all these four things, now that I see them together, are very perfect for spring. But you can also, because they are blouses, except for the dress of course, wear them in winter or whatever season is. But I think it's nice also to transition to spring when we make these garments. So I hope you like these inspirations for the coming weeks. If you have anything else you'd like me to make, please leave a comment or send me in DM what you like me to make. Send me a picture if you have seen something that you want to make but you don't know how to do it yourself. Just let me know, and I will be very happy to make it for you, make a video out of it so that you can recreate what you saw in the shops. So I hope you liked it. I'll see you again next week, next Sunday, with a new sewing class. And thank you so much for watching, and please don't forget to subscribe, We are almost at 1,000 subscribers, so please subscribe if you haven't done already. And I'll see you again next week. Thanks for watching. Bye.